Are you looking to live stream your games on YouTube or Twitch? If so, then OBS is definitely your tool. Today I'm going to walk you step by step through how to set up a gaming stream for YouTube or Twitch using OBS. So let's get to it. Before we get started, here are some things you're going to need if you're going to live stream games. If you plan to stream computer games using a PC or Mac, you're going to need a pretty decent machine. This is so you can maintain consistent frame rates throughout the entire stream. For console games like the PS4 and the Xbox One, you're going to need a game capture card like the one you see here. This device takes the HDMI signal from your console, ports it into USB on your computer so you can use it. You're also going to want some headphones so you can hear the game, a webcam so that you can do shots of yourself, and a decent microphone so your audience can hear you. I use the Fifine T669, it's the one you see here. It comes with the microphone, the stand, the actual arm, the whole 9 yards, and it's like $50. You really can't go wrong. This is an exceptional microphone. I use this very simple webcam. It's 1920 by 1080. It's relatively cheap, and it works pretty well. As far as headphones go, this is kind of your preference. Some of these game streams tend to be long, so you want to wear headphones that are comfortable for you, and if that's the over-the-ear cans, that's great. Some people like to wear the earbuds. It's really up to you. If you're interested in taking a look at any of the equipment I'm showing you here, there are links in the description for you to check it out. Now let's talk about the basic scenes you're going to need to set up to do a great gaming live stream. There are 3 main elements or scenes that you're going to want to have. The first scene is going to tell your audience that you're coming on soon. And you want to have the scene saying something like, "This stream will begin with a countdown," or "This stream starts at," and a time. You want to have a background that represents the game. I usually like to have older footage that I already took of the game being played on one side of the screen, and then I definitely want to have the name of the game that I'm going to be playing on the stream somewhere on the screen, and some background music. And that's really all there is to this first scene. Now, the importance of the coming soon scene is that it allows people to congregate in your live stream. They know what you're going to be playing and they can already start talking amongst themselves. And it's always nicer to go live when you have a couple of people in your audience already. So I usually like to start this coming soon scene at least 5 minutes before I start my actual live stream. The second main element is your actual game screen. Usually the game is going to be a bulk of the screen with possibly a little camera view down in one of the corners. And that's all that's really necessary in the game screen. I am going to show you how to add a motion overlay and also how to do green screen on your little image if you want to. The third element or scene that you need to have is a "I'll be back soon" scene. You want one of these because game streams tend to run a couple of hours and you might want to take a bathroom break or you might have to run and get a glass of water. And you really don't want to just get up and walk away and leave that static screen while you're away. So a "Be Right Back" screen should have basically the same elements as the "Coming Soon" screen. You're going to want to have text that says "I'll be right back," and then I'll usually set up a little window of the game screen playing on the side and some background music. And that's really all there is to it. There is one other scene that I do like to create. It's not necessary, but I think it's a nice to have, and that's an intro scene. Usually my intro scene will have some sort of background that represents the game I'm going to be playing and a smaller window of me where I can just talk to my audience. The way I use a scene like this is after the countdown, I'll come on, talk directly to my audience for a couple of minutes and say hi to new people before I jump right over to the game scene. And then if I want to take a 5-minute break and just talk to my audience, or somebody asks a question or says something particularly entertaining, I'll pause the game and I'll jump into this intro scene so that I can talk directly to the audience. It's a really nice thing to have and it's not difficult to set up, and I'm going to show you how to do that today too. So now that you know the 3 element scenes you really need to have, and of course the one extra that you might want to have, let's jump into OBS and I'm going to show you exactly how to set these up. Here in OBS, the first thing I want to do is create our 4 scenes. I'm going to create an intro scene just because I like to have one. When you first open OBS, there's automatically a scene created called Scene. I'm just going to rename that to Coming Soon. That's going to be our Coming Soon scene. Then in the lower left-hand corner of Scenes, I just click this plus button. That brings up a box and I just name my next scene. We're going to call this one Main Game. Click plus again. Going to call this scene Be Right Back and click OK. And one more time, I'm going to click the plus. We're going to call this scene Intro. now we have our 4 scenes created. The next thing we're going to do is populate the scenes. I'm going to start with the coming soon scene. I want to add a background image to this scene. And what I like to do for game streams is go out there and see if there's a desktop or a background or something. I just download that and I'll use that as the background to my coming soon scene, and probably a lot of my other scenes as well. To add this background to the scene, I just click the little plus in the bottom of sources. Then I'm going to go to image. I'm going to name this image background. Click OK. Then I just browse to the location where that image is stored. Select it and click open. It shows me my image. I click OK. Now I just want to move this image around so it's exactly where I want. Since the image already has the title of the game, I'm going to want to use that. Once I have the image located where I want, the next thing I want to do is add a countdown timer. So I click the plus button in the lower left-hand corner and I go to browser. Then I name it countdown. And the next thing it brings up is a browser source. There's a lot of sites out there that offer widgets for live streamers. The one I'm going to use is Enter Media. All the widgets are free here. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. In Enter Media, I just go locate the widget that I want to use. In this case, I want to use a timer countdown. I set the timer countdown to 5 minutes. I do want it to show seconds, and then I click apply. Then I just copy and paste out this little URL here. I just paste that URL into the browser box. Then I want to scroll down and I want to click refresh browser when the scene becomes active. What that means is every time I go in and I restart that active element, I'm going to get the 5-minute counter. Then I just shape this and put it exactly where I want it. Next, I want to just add some text above the countdown. So I click the plus button and I go to text. I'm going to name this text what it is, coming on soon. Then I'm going to select a font that I like. In this case, I'm going to select a font that's pretty close to the logo font for the game. And then I'm just going to type in here, stream will begin in. I'm going to add some outline and some drop shadow and click OK. Now you can see it's in the top left. I just need to resize it. I drag it down above my timer. And we're all set there. Now here you can see I'm getting some weird problems with this timer. I can tell you right now, this is a product of the fact that I'm doing a screen record while I'm trying to set this up. During a normal stream, I don't have these problems. This is the first time I've really ever noticed it. So if you set up your browser source the way I showed you, you shouldn't have the same problem that we're seeing here. But if you do happen to have this problem, the best thing to do, just click the little eye next to the countdown timer and then click it on again. And if you do that repeatedly, eventually it will come up and it will display properly. You only really need to use this counter once during your stream, so that's all that really matters, is that you get it display properly once. The next thing I want to do is add a video element to my coming soon screen. To do this, I click the little plus, I select color source. I'm going to call this color source outline. I'm going to change the size of the box so that it's going to fit behind my video scene. Then I'm going to just select the color that I want to use and click OK. Then I can move this anywhere on the screen. I can resize it a little bit. Make it look exactly how I want. I'm going to put this above the Witcher logo down there. Now I want to add a video element on top of that red box. So I'm going to go down under sources, click the plus again, and I'm going to select media source. I'm going to call this media source gameplay. Then I'm going to click OK. In this box, I'm going to click Browse. Then I'm going to go to footage that I already recorded earlier that's going to represent the game I'm going to be playing. I select that footage and I click Open. And then I just want to click on Loop. Just in case the video footage isn't long enough, this guarantees it'll just keep looping until I'm ready to go live. Then I click OK. You can see that the size of this footage is big, so it takes up the whole screen. I just want to resize this footage so it fits in the little red box we've already created. And if we need to, we can change the size of the outline. We just right-click on outline, go to properties, and then we change the height or the width to whatever we need it to be. Then we click OK and we have our red box outline. The last step for this scene is to add some music. I want to go down here and I want to click this little microphone button in Audio Mixer and disable the audio that's coming out of the gameplay. Then I want to click the plus and add media source. Then I'm going to browse to this MP3 I recorded earlier of music from the game. I'm going to select that, and that is what's going to play in our coming soon stream. Now we're all set. Next, I'm going to build our Be Right Back scene. And this one's really easy because I've already created all the elements. We'll go in there, we'll add a plus, we go to image, and you can see if you click this button next to add existing, it shows the background. We'll just select that and click OK. That's the background we already added in the other scene. Now I just resize it again the way that I want it to be. And then we're going to add our color source. And you can see this is also existing. So we just add that one. We resize it. Now we're going to add our video element, which of course is also already there. Click Add Existing and select it. And then I resize that to exactly how I want it to be. The next step in the Be Right Back scene, I want to add my text element. So I click that. This one we have to create a new one. We don't want to use the same text we used in the Coming Soon. I call it the BRB. Click OK. Then I'm going to select the font that I want to use, and I'm going to add the text Be Right Back. I'm going to go ahead and put an outline and a drop shadow on this, and then I'm going to resize it and drag it and drop it wherever I want. The last thing I'm going to do with this scene is add some background music. So I click the plus, I go to Media Source, I select Add Existing, Music, then I click OK. Now we have our Be Right Back and the Stream Will Begin in scenes completely created. Let's move on and create our game scene. The first thing we're going to do on our main game screen is we're going to add our game. Now this is going to depend on whether you're playing a console or a PC game. If you're going to play the game on your PC, you're going to want to have a second monitor. This is the most effective way to add it. To do that, you just click the plus button, you go to Display Capture, and you can call this Game, and then you just want to display the second monitor. And you don't need to crop it, although you could if you want. So once you start your game, that's where it'll be on this second monitor. It'll be all ready to go, and you'll see everything that this second monitor does. Now my PC is crap, so I can't really play games on it. We're going to do a console game. So in order to do that, I'm going to remove this here. We're going to add a console game. I'm using a capture card, and that works just like a camera source. So we're going to select Video Capture Device. I'm going to call this Game. Then I'm going to select my device. In this case, it's the Camlink 3. And there you go, you could see it. I'm going to select High. That would be 1920 by 1080. That means it's going to set it to the same resolution as my canvas. And we'll get into the settings in a little while. Then I'm going to click OK. And there you can see I have my game fully laid out on the screen. And we'll just go ahead and click the Start button on the game we want to play. The next thing I'm going to add to this is an overlay for my scene. To do this, I'm going to click the little plus button. I'm going to go to Media Source. I'm going to call this Overlay. Then I'm going to browse to the location of my overlay. I'm going to select Loop, because it is an animated overlay and I want it to keep playing. And there we go. And all this is a very simple overlay I created and added some animation to. It's absolutely not necessary, but it is a nice to have because it does kind of watermark your live streams. If you want to know more about how to create an animated overlay for your live gaming streams, I'll leave a link at the end of the video and in the description. The next element we're going to add to this scene is the camera of me. So once again, I'm going to click the plus button in Sources and we're going to go to Video Capture Device. Since we're capturing another video, I'm just going to call this one Me. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to select my webcam. I'm going to put it to high, and boom. Now you can see there's my webcam. I don't really like how this is cropped, so I'm going to crop this. And we're going to go to Filters. We're going to add the plus. We're going to go to Crop and Pad. I don't really need to change the name of that. And now on the left, we're going to crop it by 300 pixels. And that's not enough. So 320. Nope, that's not enough. 330. Let's go to 340. And boom, we cropped all that other crap out. We're going to go to the right. We're going to try a 340 again. Not too bad. Let's try 330. That's good. And then I want to crop the bottom just a little bit. We're going to try 200. Nope, I want to do 300. Alright, so now we've cropped our image. I like that. That looks really good. We're going to click Close, and there we go. So now we just want to fit this into our little screen box here. And you can see that it didn't fit in quite as well as I would have hoped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I'm going to right click, go back into Filters. I'm going to go to Crop Pad. And I'm going to put this bottom to 400. And now I think I should get it pretty close. And there we go, that's how you set this up. Now here's a tip I want to give you. If you're using an overlay like the one I'm using, but maybe you don't always want your image to be on the same location on the screen, it's really easy to change this up. You can create a separate scene, or you could just right click and duplicate this scene. In fact, let me do it now. So we have our main game scene. I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to go to duplicate. This is going to be called main game 2. I'm going to click OK. So we're in main game 2, and what I want is I want to put my image in the other side of the screen. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to right click on overlay, go to transform, and we're going to flip it horizontally. And you can see that puts that box on the other side. Now I'm going to select the me. We're going to move me over into that box. And now, if you need to, or if I'm blocking something that's happening on the scene, you could just move it somewhere else. So I can move this up here underneath main game, and then if I select one or the other, it will move me around the screen. It's really, really simple. If you ever want to move these things around in fine detail, all you have to do is select them, kind of move them a little bit. Then you can use the arrow keys on your desktop to move these around. Now we can flip the screen back and forth to move us around. You can flip it vertically if you wanted to be in the top right or the top left. I did promise I was going to show you how to do some green screen here, so let's get that set up. Okay, so you can see now I have a green screen set up behind me. Let's go into OBS and I'll show you how to set it up. Right click on the camera with you in it, go to filters. We're going to add another filter here. This one is going to be chroma key. Click OK. You can see on the left and right there, I might have to crop this a little bit more, actually. Let's go into crop and pad. We don't want any elements in there that show the corners of the green screen. 375 on this side as well. Okay, here we go. We're going to close that. Now you can see that I have the green screen on. And that means no matter where I put it, you're just going to see me, but you're not going to see the background. So let's, for the sake of discussion, turn off this overlay here. And then for something like this, you just might want to put you down in the bottom right hand corner like that. Now if you have trouble with your lighting on your green screen, which could be a problem, I have a decent lighting setup. And you can see around me there is a little bit of a green glow there. What you can do is you can use these filters here to kind of get your light source right. Get your saturation correct, so you know you don't look like a zombie. My lighting in front of me is a little strong. I don't usually use a webcam. I use a camera that I have a little bit more control over. Opacity will make you a little darker. You can add more contrast or less contrast. You can see the light I'm using actually puts this big shine right on the front of my nugget. It's kind of annoying. I can turn down the brightness and all that kind of stuff. I can adjust the gamma, but really just good lighting is what really does it on this. You don't have to just use a green screen. You can use blue, magenta, or a custom color. If you went in here, you could select the color. So let's say you didn't have a green screen, but you were going to use a white wall in the background that you have well lit. Well, you can just instead of green screening out, you can use the white wall. It's really hard to find a more compliant green screen than the one you're going to get with OBS Studio. So there you go. The final piece of the puzzle for our game screen is to add our audio. So let's add audio for us first. We're going to go into audio input capture. We'll call this me audio. Now I want to select that Fifine T669 microphone. It is the USB plug and play audio device right here. And let's see here, we'll scroll down to it. You can see I can adjust the levels on this microphone and adjust them up and down and do all that kind of stuff. Seems to be working fantastically. The last thing is to add the audio for our game. And because we're using the game capture device that goes over HDMI, we're going to use the same audio to capture that. So we're going to go into audio input capture and we're going to call this game audio. Click OK. And we're going to select our cam link and click OK. And now if we scroll down below, we can see the game audio is right here. Woohoo! That's pretty much it for our game scene. The last scene I'm going to set up is my intro scene. This is not necessary. I think it's just a nice to have, but it's really easy. I'm going to click the little plus, go to Image. Then I'm going to go to Add Existing, select Background, and click OK. This is the same background we used for almost every scene. I'm just going to resize it exactly the way I want. Then I'm going to click the plus, go to Color Source. We're going to add the same color source in, so we're going to use that existing one, Outline. Click OK. Then I'm just going to resize it. This one's going to be bigger than the ones I've used in the other scenes. Now I'm going to add my camera. I click that plus. I select Video Capture Device. I can add existing and select me. It's the same one that I've been using. I just resize that and place it into my red outline. And the last thing I need to add is an audio input capture. So I click the plus, go to Audio Input Capture. Name it appropriately, then I click OK. I'm going to name this Me Audio. Then in Devices, I'm going to drop this down. Select the Fifine T669. That's this USB P&P audio device. And once I have that in here, I can go down into my audio mixer and adjust the levels appropriately. Now we have all the scenes configured for our live broadcast. All we have to do is go in and configure our settings so we're ready to go. So let's dive into the settings. The General tab has lots of usability and display preferences in it. I don't generally mess with this. There's nothing here you need to change. In the Streaming tab, click the Service dropdown and select the service you want to stream to, either Twitch or YouTube Gaming. Under Server for YouTube, select Primary. For Twitch, you can leave it on Auto and it'll select the best local server for your stream. The next box is the Stream key. For YouTube, you can find this by clicking Go Live on the dashboard. Select Stream Now at the bottom. Scroll to the encoder setup and copy the Stream key here and paste it in the Stream key box in OBS. For Twitch, log in and click the icon in the top right. Select Settings, then select Channel and Videos. The Stream key is at the top. Copy it out and paste it in the Stream key box in OBS. Let's go to Output next. This is the most important area to look at for producing a quality stream. First, we need to determine the upload speed for your connection. To do this, you need to locate the speed test for your ISP or just use a speed test site on the internet. I have RCN, so I do a search. It's really easy to find. You want to make sure you're testing your upload speed. Once you determine your upload speed, this is going to dictate the max resolution and frame rate you can stream at. Let's look at this chart and decide the optimal resolution and frame rate. For YouTube, you can see here, if you want to stream at 1080 and 30 frames per second, you need an upload speed of 3.8 to 7.4 megabits per second. Depending upon where you fall in this range, that means you're going to need a bit rate in the Output tab between 3,000 and 6,000 kilobytes per second. If you plan to stream games on YouTube, you should be using 60 frames per second. For a 1080 stream, you need an upload speed between 5.6 and 11 megabits per second. That means you'd set your bit rate between 4,500 and 9,000 kilobytes per second. If you're a gamer with a slower connection, you should move to 720 at 60 if you can't do 60 frames per second at 1080. Remember that a lot of your audience is watching on a cell phone anyways, so make it the best connection you can, but don't stress about it. The most important thing is you don't want your stream to buffer all the time. This will kill viewership big time. For a Twitch 1080 by 60 frames per second stream, it requires an upload speed of 5.6 to 7.4 megabits per second. This means you should set your bit rate between 4,500 and 6,000. Here's a big tip to those gamers who are new to streaming on Twitch. When you're not monetized, your viewer does not have the ability to change the resolution that they're viewing. And since most people watch on their cell phones and sometimes they're not on Wi-Fi, this can really limit your audience. For this reason, I highly recommend if you're not monetized on Twitch, you stream at 720 by 60 frames per second. This gives you the opportunity to reach the widest audience. Once you've determined your upload speed and decided what resolution and frame rate you're going to stream at, enter the bit rate here. The other setting you may need to know about here is the encoder preset. If you find your stream is using a lot of CPU and you're having audio sync issues, you may want to come in here and change the encoder to something less taxing on your computer. Let's move on to the audio tab. You just want to go in here and verify that your audio is set to 44.1. Next is the video tab. Here you're going to set your canvas size and your output resolution. I highly recommend you set these both at the same resolution you plan to stream. This will ensure that your computer does not need to do any additional scaling that can cause more CPU usage. Set the resolution you've decided to stream on and your frames per second as well. You won't need to worry about the downscaling filter because we aren't downscaling anything. We've set the canvas and the output exactly the same. That's all you need to be concerned about in settings. You're now ready to go live. To go live on Twitch, you just go into Stream Manager. Then you go back into OBS and click Start Streaming. Then you go live. On YouTube, you can click in the Go Live button on the dashboard. Create a new stream. Then go back into OBS and click Start Stream. Once YouTube has your signal in the monitor and it looks good, just click Go Live. Now you should be ready to do those gaming live streams on Twitch or YouTube like a boss. If you want to see how to create awesome animated overlays for your live game stream, check this video out right here. If tools, tips, and tricks about how you can become a better YouTuber are your thing, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss our next videos. My name is Michael Fira Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.